All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've got Cameron back with us. As you can see, we've got his face frozen in a stupid grin, but we do have Cameron back. So,
Yay! Cameron's back.
how you been, brother?
Working my nuts off. That's how I've been.
And you know, it's funny. Usually Cameron and I talk every day about the show, about doing show prep, or just talking politics, or the just even politically unrelated news. Uh, Whatever. We talk almost every day, basically about what we're going to talk about on the show, and sometimes that's hey, here's this thing. It's not super prescient right now, but it's something that I want to talk about. We talk every day. Um,
Except for the past couple of days.
and and when you say the past couple of days, like I think the last time I talked to Cameron, with the exception of a text message or two, was last Thursday. So, yes,
Yep.
which
Squirrels shitting pineapples and whatnot.
yeah, exactly. Between him working and me being just laid up with surgery, we've been out of touch.
So can I just say it? Can I just splash this right in?
Bring it in, baby. Bring it on.
I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, you commie bastards.
That's right. A Merry Christmas, you commie bastards. Hey, and we've got Danny. We've got Danny in the chat. Good morning, Danny.
Yay! Danny's in the chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Merry Christmas, Danny.
And there's Steve saying good morning. Yep, Merry Christmas, Steve. Merry Christmas. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about saying Merry Christmas versus saying Happy Holidays. I am generally of the opinion, here you go. There are two types of people generally who say Happy Holidays. There are cowards and there are commies. You don't say Happy Holidays because you're trying to be inclusive. You say Happy Holidays, and we'll back this up with argument and evidence in just a moment. You say Happy Holidays because you want to offend a Christian.
Yes, very much so.
And that's my problem with it. It's not a question of being inclusive. It's just like all those. It's just all the lefty rallies where they scream things like, everyone is welcome here. But then if you watch their behavior a little bit, it's, oh no, everyone is welcome here except for self-castrating, unless you're a non-self-castrating straight white male. If you happen to be a straight white male, you can be welcome here if you castrate yourself for us. Well, the whole Happy Holidays thing is the same thing. You don't see people in publicly berating Jews for saying Happy Hanukkah, or publicly berating blacks for saying Happy Kwanzaa, or publicly berating Muslims for saying happy. Which one do they have this time of year? They have a bunch of them, and
I wouldn't know.
I forget which one is closest to Christmas. But there are a lot of holidays that happen this time of year. But it is only if you say Merry Christmas that somebody's going to berate you and say you should say Happy Holidays, right? And there's
And let me
go ahead.
just real quick. I tend to tell people both. I say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays because there are, even if all you celebrate is New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and Christmas, well, that's multiple holidays. But I unabashedly say Merry Christmas. I mean, it's not the phrase itself that's offensive. It's the substitution that it's being deliberately used for that is offensive. And as you point out, it's intended to bash Christians. But it's not just Christianity itself that's under assault with that. There's actually the whole Western tradition of Christmas. And it's not just us. I mean, go back to the motherland, as it were, and look in England. I mean, good grief, every year Doctor Who has a Christmas special, and it is packed to the gills with Christmas kitsch, and they're usually some of the best episodes of the year.
Yeah.
So this whole thing with Merry Christmas, and why we're saying Merry Christmas, you commie bastards, is because It is one of the strongest traditions that we have in this country. It ties us all together. We are the country that works. Oh man, in America, you got to have 40 hours a week and you only get 2 weeks a year paid vacation. And we don't have paid maternity leave. And okay, fine. You know what? Let's just accept all of those arguments for a moment. We are, in fact, the country that works. We work our asses off. And we give ourselves universally as a society one break all year. And it's this time of year where we give ourselves that break. And it's one of the few cultural ties that we have that binds us all together. Ergo, the left must destroy it.
And okay, and that's I'm glad you brought up the question of work. So globally, you have a few different situations. You have third world countries where there isn't enterprise, there isn't commerce. Steve's got a funny little comment. I'm gonna dig into that hard in just a minute here, because it's a question that kind of misses the point. I'll get back to it. So you've got your third world countries where there's just not commerce or industry, and basically there's no work to be done. People just aren't working. Then you've got China, India, where there's a clear division, where there are people who work that are basically slaves, and they work all that can they work all the hours that can be squeezed out of them. And then you've got Europe, and to a lesser or greater degree, Canada, where you've got all these insane government mandates that you will take. You know, I think they work 3 hours every Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's kind of the world. But then you have the U.S., where by a wide margin, people work as much as they can voluntarily so that they can make more money. And part of Steve says Cam picked a hell of a time to skydive. He's not wrong. Did you turn your video on, Cameron?
No.
Okay. Well, I can't see it because your video is covered by the emergency backup, Cameron.
I promise I'll tell you when I turn it on.
Okay. Anyway, so in the U.S. you work your ass off to make a buck, right? You work and you earn, and if you do that correctly and over a substantially enough protracted period of time, then you get to a point where you don't have to work as much to earn what you've been earning, because you've created a machine that earns for you, right? I'm a huge believer in self-perpetuating residual income. I have a few self-perpetuating residual incomes that I can just walk away from and never have to do anything with, and they'll keep paying me. But it's taken me over 20 years to build those up, to create those lines of revenue. That's for you college kids out there, that's part of what we call adulting, children. It's right up there with opening soup cans. It's part of the machine, right? So we take that very, very seriously. We also take the hey Cameron, do me a favor and mute yourself while you're not speaking for now. We also take the little bit of time off that we do take. We take that very seriously as well.
Yeah, work hard, play hard.
Yes.
And what does that American work ethic produce? I don't know. How about
a vaccine for the COVID virus in less than a year?
Yep. You're fucking A right. That's exactly where I was going with it.
A manufacturing industry that actually profits off of a lull season?
Yeah, I mean,
make no mistake, if you are in retail or non-essential consumer goods manufacturing, You don't have a job without Christmas. And I mean all of retail. If you work in retail, your job doesn't exist without Black Friday and the Christmas shopping season.
Yes, yes, 100%. And as you pointed out, we take our time off very seriously. We work so hard and then enjoy one another this time of year. Like, for example, we're actually going to get to spend some FaceTime with Danny a
Yay!
little later this week. Yes, yes. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Unfortunately, it looks
And
like the stars have not adequately aligned, so Cameron's going to see Danny and Alex on Saturday, and I'm going to see them on Sunday, but it is what it is.
yes, yes, yes. Um, but work hard and play hard. Frankly, we have earned it. There's an expression I have that I really took to heart when I was in sales for all those years. Had a manager tell me once, said, a good salesman never has to explain how hard he's trying. And it's not even that you're necessarily the most successful salesman. If you go out and you work a dozen leads and you just get a bunch of no's, uh, well, you still went out and worked a dozen leads. You don't have to explain to anybody that you tried.
Right. Um,
So yeah, I would actually like to go back to Steve's question though, because it's funny, but it's not that we're actually offended in the way of, oh my God, I'm offended. That's not it at all. It's more along the lines of the they say it to be deliberately offensive, and there is a difference. There's there's something very American wrapped up in this holiday. And I would say that there's something very, if you want to look at the entire kind of Western liberal individualist tradition that's wrapped up in this holiday, it's not just our traditions here in America that are attempting to be torn down. I mean, we're talking about a holiday that is foundational to Christianity. And because it's foundational to Christianity, it's also foundational to all the concepts of individual liberty that seem to have coincided with the rise of Christianity. You could even make the point that the biggest enemy of communism is not Uncle Sam, but Jesus. So we just have to tear down Christmas. We just have to. We can still take Christmas off. We can still give each other presents. That's fine. But we have to be ashamed of it. See, we have to feel bad. And I'll tell you, man, one that has really started to piss me off. I've seen this passed around social media the past couple of years. You should not fill your tree up with presents and tell your children Santa came and brought you all these presents. Because some people don't have as much as you. See, so Johnny in upper middle class gets 10 presents for Christmas, but DeMario down in the ghetto only gets one Christmas present. Well, why does Santa like Johnny more than DeMario? No, no, no. So instead, what you should do is only select one or two presents, and those are the presents from Santa. And then the rest of them just come from mom and dad. And bullshit. Okay, I mean, bullshit yourself. If I want to go, I mean, work myself into debt to buy my kids Christmas presents, and say they're all from Santa, then that's what I'm going to do. It's my right as an American, and you can get completely bent if you have a problem with that. So, are we offended because our little feelings are hurt? No. No, we're not. But is it offensive? Yes. I mean, just look at the track of our entire culture. If I told you 20 years ago that the Supreme Court was going to write a scathing review that just nationalized gay marriage, based on the feels instead of the law, would you even believe it? And that's just one example. So, no, uh, Merry Christmas, you commie bastards. In fact, most especially, Merry Christmas to you commie bastards. Maybe you should try enjoying the holiday on its own merits. You might be able to walk away from that communism thing a little bit.
Yeah, and so let me bring that around to the other point that I wanted to talk about today. You know how in the South you'll hear ladies say, "Oh, bless his little heart, bless your little heart," and that's not a good thing. That's we pray for you because you're clearly broken. That's you poor pitiful thing. You're so okay. Yeah,
It's the most polite fuck you you'll ever hear.
there are two ways that I say Merry Christmas. Most of the time when I say Merry Christmas, and you guys, hey, I've talked about my faith on this show. I am not what you would call a traditional Christian in so many ways. Frankly, and I don't celebrate Christmas because I'm a Christian, because I'm not a Christian. I celebrate Christmas in my house with my family because the kids love the Santa Claus thing. My folks are Christians. Most of the vast majority of my family are Christians. We celebrate Christmas together, and for my part, I am celebrating a good reason to spend time with my family. That what they are celebrating is the birth of Christ and all that is utterly beside the point to me on the question of it is Christmas time. And I would not find a bugaboo with it if it were just that people were trying to be more inclusive of other religions and holidays, because hey, I give two shits about your minuscule inadequate holidays compared to the glorious sacrament of Yule. But when I say Merry Christmas to people in public, most of the time what I mean is I wish for you all the beautiful, wonderful, good things, the blessings, the camaraderie, the time with the family, all of the wonderful things that go with celebrating Christmas amongst your loved ones. Sometimes what I mean is fuck you, you commie bastard, and most importantly, and this is why I have a problem with the happy holidays thing, fuck you, you commie bastards, I will not be cowed and have my First Amendment restricted by your moral preening and mandates. You will not mandate my speech. In fact, it is the same argument that is made by Jordan Peterson when he talks about not using preferred pronouns. All these lefties get up in arms, but oh, he's transphobe. He hates trans people. He hates blah 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 blah. He refuses to use people's pronouns. False. He has never refused to use anyone's pronouns in a polite discussion. What Peterson made a big fuss about is the Canadian government was attempting, and as far as I know, they actually succeeded in passing it, but they were passing into legislation a law that would issue civil and criminal fines up to and including incarceration for the crime of misgendering someone. Right? And we've talked about this on the show 1,000 times before. The United States is the only country in the world that has freedom of speech at all. There are some countries that purport to respect the philosophy of free speech and a free press, like Great Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Something worth pointing out there is that in all of those countries there are hate speech laws on the books for which you can serve up to time and imprisonment and fines. Right? The I think the biggest headline-grabbing story on that was, of course, Count Dankula with his Nazi pug. But if that is the case, then you do not have free speech. And if you have hate speech laws and you say we value free speech, you are a liar. In fact, you're such a liar that your lie should be considered criminal because it ends in criminal prosecution. And another thing that's interesting about all of the 4 countries that I just mentioned, well, basically most of Europe, and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they all have government-funded, state-run propaganda networks that are the primary news channels in their countries. Like, in America, we have PBS, the Public Broadcasting System, which is heavily subsidized and shouldn't be. I would do away with all the funding for PBS, but we do have PBS. But PBS is not the primary news channel. It's not the primary information network in this country. I would also do away with NPR, by the way, for the same reasons. Because we are supposed to have a free press in this country. And so, yeah, the kind of my alternate fire setting for Merry Christmas is, thou shalt not compel my speech. So, what we're whining about here, Steve-O, is not being offended, right? You can't offend me, per se, because offense is taken, not given. However, I will rail against any assertions, any attempts to control me or to curtail my liberties. I put my hand up and swore the oath. And the only part of the oath that I swore that has worn off with my service is obeying the orders of the officers appointed above me. But I swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of these United States of America, so help me God, whatever that might be. Hey, from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That ain't hard. Domestic enemies are opponents of the rights and liberties that you have enumerated by the Constitution and elucidated to within the same Constitution as the nebulous penumbra of unalienable rights as it was penned in Roe v. Wade. Did I lose you, Cameron, or did you just very politely mute yourself?
I very politely muted myself because you sounded like you had a bit of a rant in you, and I was just going to try and stay out of the way.
I believe I may have.
So, yes, the point that you make, rather, about the compelled speech is, and by the way, I should have some video now. I see yes, I see that. I forgot about the Nazi pug. I'll just admit that, like, I love Count Dankula's channel. It is, it's NC-17 level content for sure.
Yes, it is.
But it's fantastic. Oh. So, in the spirit of that, by all means, please let me say Merry Christmas, Sleepy Joe. Merry Christmas, Commie Law.
Krista says, hey, we have a cam. In fact, Krista, we have a cam.
Yes.
Yes. That is the cam. I might even add a add a label on it. The cam. Can you cam?
I can do the cam.
I think that's about all I've got this morning. It may also be about all the patience that my rear end has for sitting in this chair before I need to go lay back down. Cameron, can you see the chat?
I can indeed see the chat.
Excellent. I would also like to ask, for those of you watching, I see that somebody is watching on Facebook and somebody is watching on Periscope. So Periscope is a new one for us. We've been on Periscope the last 3 days. So you, yes, you there on Periscope, would you please drop a comment and let me see, let us know who you are. And if you like the content, you like the content. I'm not sure how Periscope works. I haven't done much with Periscope, but however you like, share, and subscribe there, please do. I think Periscope is actually about to go under. And if I understand that correctly, that's going to turn into live streaming on Twitter, which we'll jump on there because, hey, let's set this fire, baby. Do you have anything else that you want to wrap up on there, Cameroon?
I just want to point out, everybody, enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your Merry Christmas. Your friends, your family, the food, the warm fires, the wine, the camaraderie, all of that. I hate to say it, but I actually think that the next 4 years are going to be challenging. There's some other stuff we'll come back to, but I think it's fair to say the vote may well have been effectively canceled, even though we're going to continue to have elections. And I'm honestly concerned that guys like Count Dankula and Chris and I, we will be the hype of the wrong think. And so enjoy this broadcast while you can. I strongly suspect that we may soon reach a day where you cannot. So indeed, Merry Christmas, one and all.
Indeed. All right. Well, that's the show today. Y'all be good, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Firearms Friday, guys. We didn't get to do one last week because stuff, but Firearms Friday tomorrow. All right. Be safe.